here backstage with Lisa Marie Presley at Ramshead Tavern on stage this afternoon for a private artist showcase, and that was great.
Thank you.
It really sounded great. I love this moody, slow burn, atmospheric, kind of sepia tone Americana vibe that you've got going now.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, very cool stuff.
What was your prescription with the bottle wearing out? Can you hear me now? Where you sold it up? Don't get hung up here. Let's forget each other.
The guy you worked on this record with, T-Bone Burnett, is one of my favorites. Just a dynamic producer. The guy gets it. And he said something kind of interesting in an interview a couple of months ago. And he said, I heard her telling the truth, not jiving. What do you think T-Bone meant by that?
I don't know. I mean, I'm flattered by that because I know that he's so, he's very...
He can be critical. I mean, he can,
Yeah, he can.
Yeah.
And he's intense. And so I'd love to hear anything. Of course, I heard it all after the record was made, but I mean, I love to hear what he has to say a lot of times in interviews.
Yeah.
I would do every record with him, I would, because it was such an incredible experience to just do it live in a big room with those incredible musicians that he has in his orbit,
Yeah. That his cutting crew.
Yes.
Dennis and Jay and those guys.
Yeah. In fact,
unreal.
Sebastian, my drummer, was kind of his understudy, Jay's understudy. Jay has all this stuff wrapped around his ankles and his wrists, and you don't know what he's pulling out. All kinds of stuff back in the when we were recording. I was like, "What are you doing?" Someone bought an electric bug, one of those little robot bugs you can buy in the store. You click a button and it runs around.
Yeah.
The keyboard player was playing jokes while we were, and it was running all over. And at one point, Jay actually put it on the snare during a song and let it run around while we were recording.
What is it now? Oh, you don't say. Better get the hammer out today. What is it now? Oh, you don't say. Better get the hammer out today. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. A star dancing in your way, but don't look rain,
collaboration seems to be your kind of preferred MO when it comes to making music, making songs, writing songs. And on this album, working with some personal favorites like Fran Healy of Travis, love that guy, Ed Harcourt, Richard Hawley, interesting guys. How, if you would describe it, how does that process work?
It was different with Richard and Fran because they hadn't really written with anyone else besides their own bands. So they were a little bit out of their element. And we sit and agree upon the melody of the verse the verse, chorus, and the bridge, and they kind of leave me usually for 3 to 5 hours to work through the lyrics. I write all the lyrics, except for with Fran, we wrote Heartless, which is on the deluxe. Because he's a singer and a lyricist, he was part of the songwriting on that one. But it usually goes the same, and it goes, it's kind of the same routine like that. I sit forever, write the lyrics, to come back in, and we lay it down, and I like to walk out with the demo done, song done.
Your lyrics on this collection on Storm and Grace, which is out now, very personal, they strike me.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, this is you telling the story of your life, or are you channeling other personalities? How would you describe?
I'm usually telling stories inspired by things that I've experienced or I've watched happen around me. That's usually what I'm dealing with, processing somehow.
Yeah. I've talked to a number of musicians who come from very well-known families, the Marleys, for example, and there seems to be this perhaps unfair, maybe inordinate pressure to do something specifically. And I get the sense that maybe a decade ago with your first two albums, you were being not forced, but sort of pressed and influenced into doing something perhaps that didn't feel quite right.
Right.
This album didn't feel like that at all.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like you try on a few outfits and then you put the right one on. You know what I mean? It just kind of was like that. But I had to go through the process of figuring it out. Mm-hmm. I've always maintained that I'm a singer. I've been a singer-songwriter. That's what I am. So it's not. But then I was kind of pushed in the top 40 thing, which was never my thing. You know. But that's more of a label decision, and then they want to make the biggest, bang for their buck. So they kind of were definitely kind of running that train into that arena, which was never my arena, so this is definitely more natural for me.
Right.
Even coming like top 40 radio and pop stuff, and it just was never me, so that's where this is so much better and much more natural for me here. This next song is called The Storm of Nails.
If only I were a girl for now, I'd dig a hole and I'd die, come out. And on the bucket's for the day, a storm of nails in your way. There's gonna rain, rain, rain. And on my forehead does it say, unleash all the hounds of hell this way, right till she's laid, laid, laid.
What brought you back to music? Because it had been a while. Not that music ever left you, but in terms of, say, me knowing about a record by Lisa Marie Presley, what brought you back to that process, to writing, recording, releasing, and getting on the road?
I think I just had to sort of get rid of, I had to get off that last label I was on. That took a very long time. I wasn't too anxious to get onto another one. I was going through a real sort of deconstruction in my life and reconstruction period. Felt uninspired, so just went really far away and wanted to just have a clean slate, start from ground zero, and was given the opportunity to go overseas, and I sort of set up shop over there and just leisurely wrote, I think, for about 8 months. We ended up writing about 30 songs. Just different experiments, like with Richard or Ed, just like, oh, let's see what happens if you go with this person or that person. Just setting up all these different writing sessions to see what would happen.
Yeah. You've been in the UK, living there for quite a while now. Mm-hmm. Well, and the English really love like American roots music too.
They do.
And certainly you're feeling that vibe with Storm and Grace, that sort of connection to an earlier period, even before your father's time, and they just dig it. I wonder if that also kind of influenced the direction artistically you chose with this.
It's funny because there was no plan for it, but they do. English love that's what we have to offer, and they just relish in Americana sort of rootsy music that we offer, and they've always been, and I think because it was natural and I was okay with that there, it was very organic and natural feeling. It wasn't like go to Nashville, write a, turn over your, make a country record or act like you're a country person or whatever people do, or were doing for a little while there. They were all of a sudden everyone was country. Mm-hmm. That was way too, I'm sorry, there was like somebody actually took me there and, tried to make me do that. I was like, oh, please. I'm from Memphis. I don't have to, it's in me. It just needed to come naturally. That's all. And I think it did there because there was just a natural love for that kind of music, and I'm fine with it. I grew up with it. And we have one more. It's called Over Me.
Seen her face, it's okay, it ain't nothing good. Yeah, she's cool, girl, get to the picture.